Hey there, guys.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Coach.
Everybody doing okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any of the injury stuff to give you on that, but our heart goes out to everybody that's suffering from this son of a gun. I mean, in our community, I know it's a crazy time right now. So, and all the frontline people that are out there kicking butt, working on this thing, we just appreciate everything. So, and I know our players are we've checked on them, and they're doing okay too, and the coaches are doing good so far. So we're doing everything from home and working our social distancing from far away here. So it works out. It works out okay. We've been off here, doing this for a couple weeks now. So it's interesting for old guys like me, learning all this new technology is pretty good. So these young guys, they just whip right through it. But us old guys, we have to learn everything. But Zoom and the WebEx has been a good thing. We're able to talk to players, the guys that are in the draft. We're able to go through and interview them on WebEx. So that's been beneficial. And other than that, we've been doing our scheme evaluation. So the defense gets together with Spags, and the offense gets together with DB, and we bang out all this, what went on last year and what we'd like to do coming up this next year. So it's been good. We do that daily, so and it's worked out okay. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at right now. I'll leave it up to you from here. What questions?
Hey, Andy. No, sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask how you were approaching this off season with all the uncertainty. It certainly doesn't look like there's going to be any OTAs, if there's even going to be a season, or whether camp's going to start on time. So how are you dealing with all the uncertainty and all this?
Well, like you, I mean, we stay as current as we can through information from the league. We're approaching it like we're having a season, and I think it's twofold, because it can be a real positive energy giver back to the country at a time of maybe need for that. At the same time, we're very sensitive to everything going on. But as far as the off season goes, again, we're out of the office until they let us know that we can get ourselves back in. And so I've got different plans that I've kind of set up for different stages of, and whether it's virtual work or whether they let us back in the building for field work, whatever it is, I've put together plans for that, and then we'll just take it day by day, see what presents itself. So, my main concern right now, obviously, is that everybody stays as safe as they can with this thing going on, so as healthy as they can.
Do anybody, any of the players or any of the coaches have the virus?
No.
So no positive. Just real quick, Andy, because that was one of the things I wanted to follow up with. No positive tests anywhere in the coaching, scouting, all of that. As of right now, you got.
Yeah. So far, everybody's good in that. Good in that area.
Andy, this is piggybacking a little bit on what Adam just asked, I guess. But how confident are you that you'll have a season, and I guess more specifically that it'll start on time?
Yeah. So, and listen, I know what you guys know on that. Just from what the commissioner said, that that they're anticipating having a season. And then I think we're all just taking that part day by day, just see where we go with this thing. But like I said, there's two thoughts on this, and you're never going to be right with one or the other. But I think that the league is very sensitive to what's going on. But at the same time, if this can be beneficial and keep people safe, if it can be beneficial to the country and kind of helping things get going again, I think that's a positive. So there's two sides to this.
Coach, what has been
on that front as well? The draft, I know, was one of the things that's the conversation about moving it back or keeping it at a certain time. Do you have any feelings? I know a lot of people, football is kind of been the one sport that hasn't really, from a calendar wise, been interrupted. And is there a feeling whether it's obviously going to be hard for you guys to do a draft and not have everyone in the office, but if everything's equal for every team, is there a sense that this too would be maybe good for the country to be able to have those 3 days to separate and really lock in and focus on the draft?
Yeah, see, I think it could help that way. I think it could help in a positive way. But again, I know it's a sensitive area because there's two sides to it. There are people that are suffering and dying from it. So the league's very aware of that. But on the other hand, I think it could be a real positive in that it gives a little bit of life back to the country right now. And so I'm sensitive to both sides of that, as I know the league is. And the challenges for Brett and his crew of general managers throughout the league of being able to put this together under different conditions. And so that's what they're doing. I mean, I know what Brett's doing, and he's working like crazy using all the virtual equipment that he can, and watching tape. And obviously, the tape's not near as clear as it is in the office. But you power through it and you do what you have to do to make sure that you get the evaluations done, and then wherever we do the draft from, whether we're at home or whether we're in a hotel, wherever it is, you hope that everybody can stay safe and at the same time get this thing done.
Andy, what are the logistics? Andy, what are the logistics for your draft? Like, where are you going to be? Where's the beach going to be? Where are the scouts and coaches going to be?
Yeah, so right now we're kind of working through all that. Look at hotels, as a possible option, and put people in different rooms. There's a variety of things that you can go through and kind of try to look at. But we haven't put our finger down on one thing as of yet.
Andy, how are you guys handling the medicals for both for prospective NFL draft prospects and also for some of the free agencies like that? How are you handling the medicals?
Yeah, well, so the trainers Rick's kind of heading that up with the trainers and the medical experts in the league. I believe they're going to do something. They're kind of going through this now. So, but I believe it's going to happen different areas, and working with different clinics to get these things done as they go forward. But I'm not sure anything's been actually put in writing there. So, but I know Rick has been on conference calls about that recently.
Coach, how did
Okay, just wanted to. I'm going to get everybody. Say it again, please. Go say it one more time.
We'll have the opportunity to ink with Hamilton and Remmers and Ta'amu, and I was wondering if you could just go through those players and just speak to what you feel like you've acquired in them.
Yeah, I told Ted, about the defensive back. I said, other than going to South Carolina State, everything's okay. I mean, so we're glad to have him on board. No, listen, we're excited about all three guys. And so, by the way, Rimmer's wife just had a nice baby, so brand new baby here. So that's good. We welcome him aboard. He's got good talent. We'll add some senior leadership into that offensive line group. Jordan, I sure liked what I saw on tape and on TV from him. He looks like he's a talented kid. Gonna look forward to getting him on board. So listen, I think all three guys will help us and give us good depth and Rimmers obviously has more NFL experience than the other guys, so he'll compete in there for that group.
Andy, with regard to Ta'amu, what did you guys look into him last year when he was coming out? Was there a lot of interest?
Yeah. Brett had looked at him, and he kind of moved around a little bit, so it was a little bit different situation. But Brett had liked him at that time, but I think the kid he had more opportunities. I think here in the in the new league, so. We were able to bring him in, and listen, it gives him an opportunity to get in there and compete and see what he can do. I think he'll be interesting to watch him perform here.
Coach, had the NFL schedule not changed, you guys would be starting phase one here in like 3 weeks. Just curious for the prepping and all the different work that you guys have done for Rick and for Barry specifically with the guys that are currently on the roster. Just how have you guys kind of worked through that and getting the workouts to the players and just kind of communicating with the current guys what the next 30, 60, 90, however long this is, what their workflow kind of needs to be to make sure they're ready whenever they are allowed to come back?
Yeah, so BJ, we got on that right away with Barry. He was able to get the players workouts, and we haven't done anything virtually with that, but that's in the plans as we go forward in case that's the direction that we go, that the league goes. So we're prepared. We'll be prepared for that when they give us the okay on that. We know that the players are working out. They're out there and getting their workouts in. The coaches have all checked with them likewise, along with Barry and his group. So we stay close with the guys and tried to, at this time, try to stay in touch with them and if there are any problems that come up, to try to help them with it the best we can. So, and then as far as the other part goes, the off-season program starts around the 20th, so it's phase one, so we've got a little time before that. And we'll just see what direction it goes. Again, that's normally a time that we use for conditioning workouts. So if we're allowed to do that virtually, we can go ahead and do that at that time. And we'll try to stay in touch. And then if we're allowed to visit with the players with our WebEx units or whatever, we can do that. Football, we're prepared to do all of that. So, and then again, if they're allowed back in the building, we're good with that. We've got that all planned out too. So, I think we're good either way.
Coach, and I know this may be kind of a strange question, just to follow up on that. Just how much, I know you guys always lean on the IT department, but with all the technology and all the stuff going on, just how important have they been and will they continue to be throughout this, just making sure that you guys can use the technology to your advantage?
BJ, they've been awesome. I mean, it's they've helped all the coaches get set up at their homes. I mean, they've gone up and over the top. So has Pat, Brazil, with the video department. I mean, they've been up and over the top on trying to get us situated where it's smooth sailing. And I think all the coaches are just going, wow, we can, this is something. The best it can be for this kind of type of situation.
Andy, so in regard to my follow up on Jordan Ta'amu, You mentioned watching him in the new league. How beneficial do you think it is, particularly for the quarterbacks, to have a place to be able to go and play and not just have a training camp and maybe practice squads, but to be able to actually get quarterbacks out on the field? How much does he and other quarterbacks benefit from having that opportunity?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you saw the Temple quarterback. He who actually was on a couple practice squads, but he ended up signing with Carolina, and I know it's his old coach. I mean, I got it, but it's still it's his old college coach, right? It still gave him an opportunity to show, and it did the same thing for Jordan. It just gave him an opportunity to show with pro coaches coaching him, and how he'd react to those systems that they put in. And I thought it was beneficial, in particular for Jordan.
Hey, Coach, I want to put you kind of touched on how this is affecting the draft, but specifically to players who aren't able to come in for pre-draft visits or even pro day workouts. How is this affecting players who were not at the combine, or even as you put together a list of priority free agents?
Yeah, Herbie, it's interesting to juggle this because you're doing as much as you possibly can to make it right and to get. Anyways, that part's a challenge. I mean, it's hard to get that information. That's what Rick is working through right now. So with the league and the different medical staffs around the NFL. So just that they, if it's a kid that's in an area where he can go to a clinic, potentially he could get checked there and then have the information shared around the league, whatever techniques they use to do that. But that's a challenge right now. And then as far as the workouts go, that's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to. We had a couple before we were locked out of the facilities, and so, but you're not going to have a chance to get everybody in to do that. Or
how valuable is it to have a guy that can play multiple positions along the offensive line?
Yeah. So, listen, we talked about this quite a little bit over the years. I think it's important. I mean, you've seen that we've drafted a lot of tackles, and that we'll go ahead and move those guys around to guard, and then Andy tries to teach most of the guys there how to play center, and in case they need to work in at that spot. But Andy moves those guys all around and gives them an opportunity to play guard, tackle, center, right side or left side. So it's kind of paid off for us. Let me add one thing on the players that we were able to bring in the building to work out. Those were local guys, so it wasn't other kids, but we were able to get a couple of local guys in to work out. Other than that, we haven't been able to go out to workouts because of the situation we're in. So,
hey Andy, one question I had is regarding where you guys are right now in terms of the offseason. Just how unusual was it to not really be, I guess, active in free agency? And I was wondering if there was any update in terms of negotiating with Chris Jones now that you guys have placed the franchise tag on him.
Yeah, Nate. So, listen, we've tried to stay in touch as coaches. We try to stay in touch with everybody. So, as far as Brett, he's been doing all the other things behind the scenes with that type of thing, and agents and so on. So, but they've had communication, which is important in any situation, I think. So, when you're dealing with players and contracts and tags and all those things.
Yeah, and I know, Andy, there's been, I guess, discussion surrounding, Sammy's deal and maybe the possibility of him wanting to restructure it to give you guys more cap flexibility. Is that still an option on the table? Has that been discussed as far as you're aware?
Yeah, so, Nate, that's Brett. He deals with all that stuff. So, and I try to stay as far away from it as I can, to be honest with you. I dealt with all that when I was in Philadelphia, but Brett is, as you know, Brett's a great communicator. So if they're doing anything there, he's in it and talking about it. So and then, but nothing's happened at this point. I do know that part.
Andy,
Yeah.
Andy, with regard to Sammy Watkins, is it feasible, given his contract, that he plays for the Chiefs this season under that contract?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, Adam. I mean, there's a ton of time here, so but we'll see how all of that works out. Again, right now he's here, right? So I mean, that's the positive part, and we sure like Sammy. I mean, he's done a great job for us, and he's as good a player as he is. He's even a better person. So we've really enjoyed him being here. So. But other than that, I mean, I can't really lead John either way because Brett, that's his area, and I'm honestly not dealing with it. But I'm still trying to figure out.
So what did it say about Watkins? Just overall knowing that it looks like there's going to be some kind of disruption to your normal routine. Would that make a veteran, any veteran, not him in particular, but any veteran and certainly any returning player more valuable to you? Does that mean you guys, and I know everybody's up against the same thing, but does that mean you now look and say, okay, one of our guys that knows what we're doing may be a lot more valuable than somebody we've got to start from scratch with?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as many guys you can keep, you'd love to do that. I mean, that's part of it. There's the other part. I mean, Beach has got to sit there and juggle the salary cap and do all that. And so, but logic tells you that, I mean, as many guys you can keep that are familiar with what you're doing on either side of the ball, special teams likewise, you'd like to be able to do. But there are a whole lot of variables that go into it, and that's something that Brett and Brant and Shea, they do all that stuff. So I mean, it's they get in and eat all that up and spend their time doing that while I'm on with the coaches doing our part. So I'd like to be more clear for you and give you more clarity on that situation, but I'm not sure I can do that. Just what I know.
What did it say about Mike Kafka, that there was reported interest in him as the coordinator this offseason, and then what went into the decision to ultimately promote him there?
Yeah, so, I thought that he deserved that. Listen, now, it's a good situation that we're all in here on both sides of the football, but you're asking me about the offensive side. So, you have Eric Bieniemy who leads the charge, right? He's the one that organizes everything and keeps everything together. And so before I did anything with Mike, I talked with Eric Bieniemy about this. And so Eric's also a big fan of Mike's. And so we just thought it was a thing that he deserved at this particular time. And so you've got Andy Heck, who's the run game coordinator, and you've got Mike, who's doing the pass game coordinator, and then again Eric makes everything kind of happen there as the offensive coordinator.
Hey Andy, I wonder if you could give us just kind of an insight to where you're working out of. I mean, what's your workstation like, and just kind of the things you've got differently now.
Yeah, I wish I could take you through a virtual tour of this thing. It's kind of classic. I'm sitting in my basement, literally, and I've got an art trainer sitting here in case I want to jump on that to get a little exercise. I've got my monitor set up along with my computer and my iPad right next to that, and I've got one of my wife's antique tables here, a little coffee table that I'm using to throw everything on. So, but I'm in the basement, yeah, and you know what? It's not bad.
Hey, Andy, along those lines, Andy, along those lines, this has been a kind of reflective time for a lot of people, and I wonder if you have found yourself with any
particular pauses to reflect? And along those same lines too, I wondered just how you process winning the Super Bowl. I know it seems like months ago now.
Yeah. So on the first part, I'm glad I coached at San Francisco State because we had to work through a lot of things there, right? It was Division II, non-scholarship, and everything wasn't easy there. I mean, to film practice, we had to have a guy climb up on a ladder to film practice. So in the field, we had to have the players pick up rocks on the dirt field so we could actually practice. So those experiences help you in times like this, I think, when everything's not quite perfect, to make it work. What was the second part of that question on that, Vahe, the last question?
It seems, maybe almost tone deaf to ask about this right now, but we really haven't talked to you since winning the Super Bowl, since the 2 days after that. And I just wonder how that, how you process that and how sort of strange it is to be processing that during this time.
Yeah. So listen, there obviously is a certain energy that took over the city, and we all felt that. I mean, the parade was phenomenal, and that energy, we'll never forget that. And then listen, I mean, after that, the coaches got a little bit of time off, which ended up being a lot of time off here, other than doing this stuff off of the computer, so virtually. But listen, you get back into the grind. You're going to lose some players, but those guys will always be part of this team that we had here, this Super Bowl team. They'll never be taken away, no matter where they go. So there's listen, we're all proud of the accomplishments that took place this past year. We also know that we've got to get ready for the challenge of this coming season, and so we're fired up about that.
Hey Andy, one question I had, Andy, in regards to just the time we are in the calendar. Usually you would be at the owners meeting last week. I know it's an event that you would have been to for the 22nd year. Everybody obviously understands, like, your dress attire with the Hawaiian shirts, but that's usually the time where you get to see a lot of the guys that you mentored who are now head coaches. Obviously, a lot of owners. Just what was your feeling knowing that you were going to miss it, that it wasn't going to be planned as normal as it was, and have you heard back from any coaches who would have sort of congratulated you or talked to you during that time span, if the owners meeting had actually gone as planned?
Yeah, Nate. I'll tell you what, we had an opportunity to go to the combine, so we got a lot of that. All the Vetter boys at the combine, and we appreciated all of that. As far as the owner meetings, listen, I mean, it's great to get together there and go through all the new rules, regulations, and everything that go on. And but on the other side of it, listen, we get it, and we're moving on. I can still wear the Tommy Bahama shirt, so I'm good. I can wear those in my basement, so I'm not worried about that. Maybe I'll send you a picture, Nate, so you feel good about it.
Last question, guys. Good?
Actually, I have one more. I was trying to find my mute. I apologize. Coach, have you been given any indication as to whether or not the NFL is going to allow teams to come back as their areas open up, or is it going to be that all 32 teams will be out until all 32 teams can come back?
Yeah, you know what? We don't know that. We haven't had any indication on any of that. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with that. I don't have an answer for you. Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody else? All right, listen, be safe, guys. Appreciate it.
You too. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Yep. Bye-bye.